Hello everyone, welcome to Startup Musings, a brand new web series on Ink 42 Media. In this series, we'll understand the unique journeys of Indian startup founders and how they're building their companies from ground zero. On the show today, we have Amit Ramani, founder and CEO for Office, a startup solving the need for shared workspaces in India. Office was founded in 2015 and since then the startup has had several milestones. With a presence in 8 cities and 50 centers which house 19,000 seats, Office is well on its way to becoming a shared workspace vanguard in India. Welcome to Ink 42, Amit. Thank you so much for joining us on Startup Musings, and this is indeed the first episode, so we're happy to start with Office.
Thank you.
I want to really start by asking you about yourself first before we get into the journey of Office.
So by background, went to School of Line Architecture, then went to Kansas State for a Master's in Architecture, then went to Cornell for a Master's in Real Estate and Finance. So I was in the US for almost 12 years. And then, the country calling came, so came back to India and started a business in the design and build space, which still continues under the brand name Nelson. So when I was visiting in 2014 on my yearly US trips, I saw a lot of co-working spaces and I thought this would be a great concept for India. So on the way back on the plane, wrote a paper business plan, and then that's where the Office journey started.
So was Swadesh also an inspiration for you to come back to the country?
When a lot of us in the 90s left India, the opportunities were limited, and in the late 2000s the opportunities became abundant. So we obviously decided to come back, so that was a big driver. Obviously the India calling and as well as the opportunity of the expansion that was happening in India.
So how did the idea behind Office materialize over time?
I think the opportunity was there where the SME sector was growing in India and the startup ecosystem was getting well established, and corporates were looking to kind of reduce their capital investments and convert it into an operating kind of environment. So we thought there was an opportunity where you could convert anybody who's in a conventional office into a AWFIS user. So I think that's kind of where the idea came up and the journey started in the startup ecosystem.
Tell us the story behind the first center that you opened for Office.
So we opened the first center, which was 70 seats. It was a big failure. The category of seats didn't work. The size of the center didn't work. So we pivoted quite quickly into what was the right model, and so we closed down that center. In fact, it was the first center that we had opened. And then from there, we obviously understood what the customers wanted. A few years, we did a lot of learnings from our customers, a lot of experimentation with the product, a lot of experimentation with the kind of seats, the kind of furniture, kind of ambience that we are creating. So this is where we are sitting right now is the version 3.5.
So from that, the story that you just told us about the first center to 50 centers today in just 3 years. I mean, what do you think has been the biggest reason for success then?
Customers. I mean, if I have customers, if I have my community members, if they show up and we can fill up our centers, give them a great experience, give them a great ambiance, give them a great engagement, give them enrich their lives in some way, I think then the business has a great growth opportunity.
So obviously you owe it all to the customers, like you said, and you mentioned the word trust deficit. But how did you really build this trust amongst your customers to be the brand who's expanded the fastest in terms of centers in India?
So kind of 3 principles that we used. One, we give complete flexibility to the customer. So you want 1 seat or you want 500, your choice. Second, we said you want it for an hour or you want it for 3 years, your choice. Second was accessibility. So if I have a center within a 7 to 10 minute driving radius, I can actually ensure that people who are going to a cafe coffee day would come to us for meetings or their just-in-time use of space. And the third was transparency, right? So first thing we did was we built an app which had all the pricing for all the centers available. You could book it on the app, so there was no human intervention. And automatically one could look at it and say, okay, I need a center in Lavelle Road. They could go onto the app, book it, and go forward, right? So that transparency, when it comes, brings the trust into the whole ecosystem.
Sure. Any one particular gap that you were addressing with Office?
So I think what most developers in the country have missed out is that in the last 10 years, the fastest growing sector is the SME sector. In the last 10 years, it's doubled in size, right? There's some 128 million SMEs in this country today. Now, if you look at an SME customer who have, let's say, 200-300 people as part of their enterprise, their seat requirements would be anywhere between, let's say, 20 to 200, right? And if you went to any large developer, their floor plate sizes are 25 to 50,000 square feet. and the SME customer is looking for 50 seats. Now the developer is not interested because he has to chop up the floor plate. The SME customer ends up going into a grade C or D kind of a space, right? So we saw that opportunity and anticipated that if we created a product which brought the customer into a grade A building, also gave him the opportunity to take 1 seat to 200 seats, we would crack the market. And that's exactly what we did, right? And that's why 50% of our business today comes from the SME customers.
You know, that's very interesting because anyone, and I think everyone that I speak with, if you talk about co-working spaces, the only thing that people think about, it is only startup founders or entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. So, you know, why is it like that?
So I think early days, the co-working business sounded cool for startups and freelancers because you were anticipating that those are the guys who are more flexible, right? I mean, a startup or an entrepreneur is always willing to explore or experiment with new things. And I think that's where a lot of the journey of co-working businesses started. But the challenge in India specifically is if there are only 150,000 people as part of the ecosystem, you can't build a scalable business. And so from day one, we felt that this would be a great place where a lot of different customers could coexist. So the product had to resonate with startups, SMEs, and corporates. So one took a bet on this location, and clearly it's at the cusp of where Residency Road meets Lavelle Road, and I think this as central business district as it gets. I think at that stage, this was one of the bets that we were taking, was where we said the micro markets and our customer base has to be able to go from that 7 to 10 minute driving radius, right? So we didn't have a location here. We had a location in MG Road, we had a location in Koramangala. So we took a bet, and I think we've been very, very fortunate that this location has done extremely well with us. Today it's at almost 85% occupancy within first 3-4 months of its journey.
Extremely interesting brand name. Can you please tell us the story behind the name Office?
So I was, going through the thesaurus, right? And when I went to the thesaurus, the pronunciation for OFFICE is AWFIS. So I thought that would be a unique twist, right? I mean, one could, it will be the new age office. So the OFFICE becomes the AWFIS. So office is the new office, kind of.
I remember somebody, we were doing an event at office in Delhi, and the first thing I asked was, which office? So like, no, the office. So yeah, it's very, very interesting, I think, the name. Also, I mean, you have a background in architecture and planning. So how much of that has helped with building the product and the design at office?
What becomes harder is that when you design an office for a specific customer, it has to fit into their kind of hierarchy or organizational thought process. Here, the organizations could be multiple, right? I mean, we have 850 plus companies in the business today. So to design for that level of complexity where everybody feels that this is great is the complexity, and that's why we are reinventing ourselves. What's helpful is that the background obviously allows me to do that. The second thing as an architect and designer that helps is problem solving, right? I mean, ultimately you're trying to solve a problem of any client, and that background helps in that manner as well.
And what is a typical customer mix that one can see across all the spaces of office?
We probably would be at about 50% SME base, about 30% is the large enterprises, and about 20% would be freelancers and startups. And the freelancers will include, consultants, lawyers, accountants, and then media professionals and so on.
Has that been a disruption for you instead, because in your previous stints you must have had dedicated offices, a dedicated cabin maybe, to now being on the move all the time, on the go, working out of flexible desks?
I don't have an office actually. I book a meeting room or a desk when I need it, or a cabin as I go. And clearly, with being in 8 cities, one needs to be traveling and looking at all the centers. So I just book a seat and I'm on the go.
Just like any member would.
Absolutely, just like any member would do. I have to, kind of walk the talk.
Yeah. And what are the kind of offerings that you give out to members at any center of office, and also which is the most profitable segment?
You could take a cabin here, you could take a flexi seat, you could take a fixed seat, you can use our meeting room spaces, and then all of these are supported by activity-based settings which allow people to collaborate in common areas, and we have cafes and pantries which support kind of the amenity base there. So that's from a infrastructure standpoint, from a workspace standpoint. Because we have the network, we give the members the opportunity to use our centers across India. So by buying a national pass for let's say $1,000 for 5 days of use, members can not only use the center that they're situated in, but use all centers across India. So the network effect takes place.
All right, and how do you really bring a sense of belonging to the people who come to office, officers, if I can, use the term?
So I think from a community standpoint, what we have done is we built the centers in a way where the size matters, right? So our typical center size is anywhere between about 350 to 450 seats. And this goes back to my research at Cornell where we were studying workspaces, and clearly beyond 70 feet, even on the same floor, the interaction drops to almost zero. So what we have done is we have curated the spaces in a way where there's a central zone where people can congregate. We've built activity-based settings where people can interact. So what happens as a result is that there are chance encounters that happen. So people in that neighborhood of, let's say, 70 to 100 seats know each other, and they interact in the common zones when they during a lunch break or an event that is happening. They get to know each other. So as a result, the size of the community of 350 to 400 people, everybody gets to know each other. One example, which was our Lower Parel Center about a year back. There were tremendous amounts of rain one day, and we opened up all our centers on Twitter for any customer that wanted to have a roof over their head or tea and coffee, and we got a lot of positive feedback from a lot of customers who were not even our customers and actually experienced our spaces.
Give us a sense of the kind of events that you organize for your members.
Sure. So Ankita, under our Office Moments brand, we do a lot of these events, right? And essentially the focus is on experience enrichment and enablement, right? And so for example, last month was a fitness month, and we did pet yoga, right? So it's we allowed the members to bring in their pets and do yoga with them. We also do petting dogs. We've tied up with an agency that brings these pets into the workspace. And then before that was food. So we did sushi rolling, scotch tasting and so on. So I think the idea is that, how do you extend that fun element into the workspace and bring that life element into the workspace?
What are your working models? Because you have a van that seems very interesting, and I think there are other things also that are in the plan or are already existing. So
Sure.
if you can give us a sense.
So we built obviously the network, but we felt that when people are traveling from one center to the other, there is lost time, right? So we said, well, why don't we build a mobile office? And that's where the van came into play, which is kind of has a conference room, has a desk for people to work. It's fully fitted with wireless printer. It has a VC facility. It also has a restroom. So clearly, all the amenities that you can think about, and it allows people to work on the go. So today, if you were to land in Delhi and you wanted to go from one meeting to the other, while you're non-productive during the commute time, you can get productive. So that was the idea there. We've also now put together an Innova van, which has almost the same kind of amenities, but obviously can only fit about 4 odd people in that space. So I think we are experimenting with a lot of these things. I think ultimately what will end up happening is that as the work-life harmony continues and the commute times increase, people will start, if you look at any employee, his workday starts when he leaves home and it ends when he reaches home, right? To the employer, it starts when he enters the office and leaves the office, right? So there's a 3 to 4 hour gap, and that's what we are trying to solve there.
All right. And in terms of per unit economics, if we were to talk about, could you give us a sense?
So the unit economics varies center to center, but clearly all centers are running at their financial model pretty much in the first 3 to 4 months. So we reach about 45% to 50% occupancy, which is a break-even point for us within 3 to 4 months. And then clearly from then on, we reach to about 90% occupancy in the first 6 months itself. At that stage, the centers do extremely well for us from a unit economics perspective.
And which center is the most profitable for office?
So I wouldn't say one center. I think all centers are based on the financial model, because it depends on the kind of model that we're working
Sure.
with, and we work with different models, and we are probably the only co-working player in the market that works differently than purely a straight lease model. Right, so a unit economics of a straight lease center is different than a joint venture where we are doing it with the landlord, or a management operator where we are acting purely as a management kind of agency there. So all models work a little differently. I think the good part is that all 50 centers have met their financial models.
Sure.
So which is the good part.
All right. And typically, in how long do you see that break-even or profitability score happening?
So we break even at a center level within the first 2 to 4 months, and we become extremely profitable at the financial model level within the first 6 months.
All right. And when the Sequoia investment happened, there was a lot of talk around that. Can you tell us the story behind that?
So Abhay Pandey is the partner from Sequoia. Abhay and I met at one of our office centers, Connaught Place, and I obviously told Abhay the story. And at that stage, we were only 2,000 seats. We had some 1,500 committee members. This was in November of 2016. He heard the story, and I felt the meeting went average. Next day, I got a call, come to the investment committee meeting, which was happening that following Monday, presented to the investment committee meeting, and that same Friday, there was a term sheet on the table.
Any other surprises like this which have cropped up in this journey?
So we have now opened a location in Samra Plaza. It's a new location at St. Mark's Road. And, this was a center where about 6 months back, the location scouting was happening. And every single person in the sales team told us it has 800 seats, so it's one of the largest centers. All the sales guys said, not a single seat will sell here, right? So one went with the cut, and I can tell you that the center went live. The center is 100% full, day -1. So we got pleasantly surprised. But in a micro market where most of my sales guys said no chance. We have sold the center even before it went live.
So I think the prediction chart will not work for you because there's always surprise and good surprises along the way.
Absolutely, and I think from our side we are very quick to pivot, so we learn extremely fast. And I think even though we have become a large business today, we have 50 plus centers, 230 plus employees. I think that hunger for the startup and the entrepreneurial hunger is still there, and as a result, every time we open up a new center, we learn something new.
Amit, through this conversation or any conversation that you have with someone, I'm sure they'll notice that immense passion within you. So what is it that drives you?
So I think clearly, one loves doing new ventures, right? We have done the first venture, Nelson, in 2010. Then we did a facility management venture under the brand name Petra in 2013. So I'm on my third venture here. I think what excites me is the opportunity to create something from scratch and make it into a business, make it into a profitable business.
So are we seeing a fourth venture on the annual?
Well, this venture is taking shape really well, and I think we see a lot of opportunity in this space. No immediate plans for a fourth venture, but you never know. An entrepreneur at heart will always remain an entrepreneur at heart.
What is the biggest disruption that you think co-working spaces have brought about in the Indian subcontinent?
I think it's brought trust back into the ecosystem, because see what you believe, you can see the workspace and then take it on. It's also brought a lot of opportunity for SMEs and startups, I feel. I think earlier they were primarily looking at grade C and D type spaces. I think co-work has solved a fundamental problem of finding decent quality workspace in grade A buildings for SMEs and larger corporates. So I think it's brought in flexibility, it's brought in transparency. I think it's solved a perennial problem that has resulted in that trust deficit that used to exist.
And counter question to that always is, what led to the start of this disruption where people actually started moving from closed cabins, closed workspaces, the workspaces we've been used to for so many years, to shared workspaces, and now you see every one of them is full.
So I think fundamentally, if you look at the 90s, right, it used to be about the organization and the hierarchy. I wanted my corner office. Then in the 2000s, it became about collaboration, right? So it was about teamwork. It was about, how do we collectively deliver on it. Now today, it's all about the individual, right? What have you done for me? And if you look at any workspace that is being created today, it's about activity-based setting. It's about opportunity to resonate with my work style. So the individual is at the center of it. And I think if you look at co-working, that's exactly what it does.
What do you think is the future of co-working and shared workspace in India?
Today, co-working is only about, I think, less than 0.1% or 0.2% of the total ecosystem of 1 billion square feet today in the space. I think it will go to about 7 to 10% over the next 4 to 5 years, and it will become an option for people to look at as when they're looking for workspace.
And, according to you, what do you think will be the best way that you go ahead with competition that's going to increase in the market for co-working?
From our side, we feel competition is healthy. It gives customers an option. It also tells the customers what's a good product versus a bad product. So I think from that standpoint, we want to continue our journey from approximately 20,000 seats today to 200,000 seats over the next 4 to 5 years. We want to market dominate, but I think at the same time, we want to be the most loved brand in this workspace business. And we want to be finding the inspiration from our customers and continue this journey.
And what do you think will make that happen? Is it the learnings that you've already had, or does Office learn each new day?
So, as I mentioned, clearly that's the entrepreneurial hunger or that startup mindset is what has made us successful. So every single day, I think every team member learns, and we learn from those team members, right? So today, every single feedback that comes from our customers, I get a personal email around.
In terms of the immediate plans for expansion and growth, what is it that you have in mind?
So we'll double our size this year again. We went 4x our size. We will go 2x this year because the base has become larger. So we go from about 20,000 to about 40,000 seats this year. And we will expand into tier 2 cities. We already on the anvil, we have a center going live in the next 30-40 days in Chandigarh. We are looking to expand into Kochi, Ahmedabad, Bhubaneswar, Indore, Jaipur, etc. So we will go into the tier 2 markets, and we'll continue to expand our customer base. 850 companies today. In the next 6 months, we look to have close to about 1,500 companies in that customer base, and we want to continue the journey with our customers giving us their love and giving us their business. So we want to continue that space.
Okay, so now it's time for us to have fun while you muse under the spotlight.
Thank you. How many times have you been asked which office are you a founder of? Every time I go to a new office to meet somebody, that question is asked. How often have you had a just-in-time moment? All the time. What are the funniest things that members have left behind in the spaces? A rubber ducky. What are your pet peeves that you wish some members did not have? Printing on paper and wasting paper. What is the one bad thing that office doesn't have that you wish it had? $1 billion. 3 words on why members should work at office. Work meets life. Funding or bootstrapping? Funding. The brand which inspires you? Amazon. What is your most used app? WhatsApp. Where does work meet life for you? When I meet my wife. Mantra for work-life balance doesn't exist.
All right. Thank you so much, Amit, for joining us on
Thank you,
Ink42.
Ankita, for your time.